Oh, a late start to Ohio, which will almost guarantee me a traffic jam on the QEW. Now, truthfully speaking, you could leave at 4:30 in the morning or 4:30 at night and you're going to get traffic on the QEW. But when you leave at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or shortly there before, you are going to get traffic on the QEW. So all I can hope for is to get to the QEW, to get to that parking lot without finding my way onto another parking lot first. That would be wonderful. It was my choice. You know what? I'm going to start my video. I got some flack today because I didn't talk about White Tiger last night. I talked about it very briefly about how all the horses raced well. But as my partner Joe put it, 26-3 on the end of it on his first start back after a 2-month layoff is pretty good, pretty damn good. And it was. Any takeaways, he was running in a little bit, but that's why we stopped with him. White Tiger's getting a little bit older too, so newer things, older things may dissipate as far as how much they bother him, and newer things may arrive. I can't see anything bothering him. Being a 7-year-old trotter, if I was to guess, I would say maybe his knees might need a little attention, but nothing that screams, hey, something's up. He seemed perfectly good, and I don't think he's ever come a quarter in 26-3. Now, I haven't looked. Maybe some night he was following speed, but to be tracking horses second in the 2-wide path, third over, and kick home 26-3 was an impressive last quarter for White Tiger. Overall, I was happy with the entire day last night. Now, the reason I was a little late getting away today was a little depressed about the way they went today. I thought I wasn't wowed by anybody today. There wasn't a horse that... No, that's not true. I trained 2 3-year-olds afterwards. We'll talk about them in a minute. And both of them I thought trained fantastic, especially because they're at a hurdle right now where I want to push forward. I like to see a little more strength pop. And now I've come to understand that First Line Training Center is a bit deep. After bringing some of our horses, training them down in that facility, and then going to Mohawk, there's this immediate jump in endurance and speed. And I think it's just because the track is deep. There's nothing wrong with that. It just is. It is what it is. Honestly speaking, because we are right on the inside of the jogging track, we may have actually snuck through the whole winter without needing a cork on a horse. And here we were scrambling around, getting flip-flops on them, worried about foot care, and trying to take care of them all winter. And we ended up with a deep track all winter long. So chalk that up into Now I Know. In the file labeled Now I Know, and we'll know for next year. Now, to this year. I think it's worth noting, I had a couple of people that are a little dry in their humor and saying, alluding to the fact that things didn't go well today. So I'm going to make one thing very clear. Anybody that tells you their horses train good all the time is either a liar or naive or super optimistic. I'm using the word super a lot, aren't I? It just doesn't happen. I don't want to see it happen when the drone is out. It kind of sucks. And it wasn't that the horses were horrible. I can go through the whole day. I do owe James an apology, too. I did interfere with him. I giggled about it after and made reference. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I interfered with him in the first set and caused his horse to make a break. Blarney Castle. I did. I watched the replay. I would have been set back. I didn't want to, I don't know why at the moment, I didn't want to fish ready for landing to the outside. That is where I should have gone. Absolutely 100%. That's not hindsight. That is, I believe there was a voice in my head that said, hey, there's a big hole opening up there, but I need to recognize, and I didn't at that moment, that this horse, because it's always been in the turns, he's never made breaks in the straightaways for the most part. I thought that if I just took the easiest route to the finish line, so to speak, which was just a short veer to the left and through that hole, that he was fine. But he's a very competitive animal. And as I shot him through that hole, he overtrotted himself. And I should have saw that coming. I should have just nonchalantly and easily floated him to the outside and let him come to Amy's wheel. That's what I should have done. That's on me. That was my fault, and I did interfere with James. He did make a break because of it. Easy on the turns was very good today. But again, we expect her to be good. I'm just talking as an entire group. As an entire group today, I was underwhelmed. And that happens. Easy on the turns was good. James Arthur, my father's horse, very good today. Blarney Castle interfered with. I made a break, and Watch Your Mouth was good too, but again, I think he kind of got lost on the front end. He's never on the front, but I didn't want to be on the front with Ready for Landing. That wasn't going to happen. James didn't want to be on the front. Amy wasn't coming, and Johnny was going to go easy with James Arthur. So it was inevitable, I guess, in hindsight, that Danny was going to be on the front with Watch Your Mouth. I know he didn't want to be there, but, you know, musical chairs. Music started, and you were on the front. So, but an underwhelming set aside from James Arthur and Easy in the Turns, right? Watch Your Mouth, I thought, I didn't really pay much attention to him as we finished up because I was going through there and I made a break. Yeah, he should have had a bit more pop to him, but again, learning. It's all learning experience. Even the breaks, even the horses that are a little flat on the front or a little flat on the back end, these are all learning days, all learning experiences for these horses, and they're not always going to be great. And today they were. So, that was set one. Set two, I thought Winter Bells was good. Amy said she wasn't steering as good today. Now, as I said, the track was deep. It does have a lot of water under the surface. That's why at 10:30 it just turned into a swamp immediately. And there's not much you can do about that. All that snow piled up, that's going to stay damp. It's until you get a couple of days where it's like plus 15 or 20 again, you're not going to see it get really dry and tighten up. So, Winter Bells was good, but I get up to beat her with Time Is On My Side, and I didn't find him that good today. And he was a little lethargic afterwards. Now, especially after many of you may know by now, No Chance in Hill had to go to the university. There was nothing wrong. We were just being overly cautious. He was a little bit dry, a little bit colicky. Ran lots of fluids into him. He gets oral fluids every day, aside from the 2 buckets of water that are in his stall. But no indication there was any real issue. We just didn't want to take any chances. We just thought the money we were going to put in was way more than peace of mind, because the one thing you have to recognize is that when you get by that line, right, when you get by a certain line with colic horses, it's hard to turn back, right? And I can assure you, all that's waiting for you on that other line is stress, potential issues, and a big bill. So we decided to take him down. He's fine. He'll be back tomorrow at the barn. He'll miss, obviously, tomorrow's training, but he'll be back at it on Saturday. Horse is fine. So Time Is On My Side, a little lethargic. After I noticed he was, you notice things about horse. I go with this horse all the time. Pulling up, he was kind of a little lathered up. Now he's a stud, but it's not hot today. It was cold, and a cold wind. I was surprised the track let go at all, because even as I trained the last horse, my feet were froze today. Anyway, Time Is On My Side. Get up and did his work. Good for him. Winter Bells did her work. Now, Hallie decided not to do her work. Rolled off in the third turn and the fourth turn. Wait, 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3. In the second and third turn, she rolled off. Drebin rolled off. Now, I know Danny could have said, well, monkey see, monkey do. Hallie made a break, probably just jostled him a bit. I don't know about that. And then he said, maybe his hobbles were long. I don't know. Maybe it was just, there's a horse that tied up a little bit. They thought he tied up. Now, we were blistering the horses last week a little bit. Now, were they a little skin sore, or did he actually tie up? He may have tied up a bit, which makes him a little more susceptible to making a break. So of all the horses that I thought looked lackluster today, I'll give him a mulligan, because he did tie up a little bit last week. And George of the Jungle was good. Was also good. I know he was goofing off at the start, but I thought the horse looked good afterwards. So I think all of Johnny's looked good today. James Arthur, George of the Jungle, and then the other horse looked tremendous. Talk with him. Who do you have in the other set? Lonely Lakewood. All Johnny's. Johnny was trainer of the day today. So those were 2 sets in the book. Third set, Punch the Clock. I'm pitching her. I'm not worried about her because I don't really care about the breaks. Keep in mind, separate her from this group and rewind it 6 weeks ago. I don't care about the breaks. When she's trotting, she's fluid. The stuff, the being green and acting up, that will dissipate. She does not have the actual labor, the actual work into her that the other horses do. So I don't care about the breaks of Punch the Clock Day. When she was trotting, she looked beautiful. James had a Murphy on the outside of her the last 3 training trips, because she was kind of pulling up a little bit, and they'll do that, the baby. So drive out a little bit. Now she's straightening up a little bit and running into the turns and making a break. So I told him, I said, well, you have 2 options. Take the Murphy off and muscle through it, or put her head pull on her. She's going to have to learn to wear one anyway some days. So just put a head pull on her. I said, James, I don't care about the breaks. It means nothing to me. The filly is sound. I said, is she sound? Yes. Is she on a line? No. Well, in the turns a little bit. Is she on a shaft? No. So if you took away the 2 breaks, would you say she looked sensational? 100%. He said, I love this filly. I said, who gives a shit about the breaks? I don't care. She's got tons and tons of time. Lonely Lakewood looked really good for a horse. Said this was his first training trip since we operated on his throat, right? Strong Johnny said, I just didn't want to push him. I said, I appreciate that. And the Seasons of Love was just being a bit of a goof. She's fast, and the horses that have some speed, what they do with it at this point is different for each horse. And what some horses will do is they get almost bored, right? And you can see that when we started the mile, she's wanting to go 100, she's looking around, and when you grab her, it's hard to steady her because she gets pacey, and she will pace. So I had said to Shelby that takes care of her, I said, from now on, I want an ear hood on her and a snake cord on her, and I want her under control. I just need her to learn to sit, follow, and attack when I ask her to, right? And I think it's just a minor thing. You're not going to see it overnight. It's not going to happen on Saturday. She's not going to be perfect. Or Friday, she's not going to be perfect. But give her a couple of Fridays, and I think that will smooth itself over. Smart filly, when she's in top gear, you don't have to worry about her. You put a dime on her back. She is beautifully gated and knows the difference between winning and losing. She wanted to come to Lonely Lakewood today, and I had her cinched up pretty good down by the wire because I don't want to push Lonely Lakewood, and I don't want to, I don't want to discourage him, especially considering the situation he's in, where this was his first training trip back. And we didn't go that fast today. Between the deep track and the wind, I don't think anybody beat 240. Maybe Time Is On My Side and Winter Bells, but everybody else was around 240. So, punch the clock, fine with the way she's going. Seasons of Love, I thought, just need to work on her overall understanding and focus. J-Port Beach Boy was good. Again, that was his first training trip since being castrated. Lonely Lakewood was great. And Rito's Lady was good. Now, we don't talk much about Rito's Lady. We will, because she's now starting to figure it out, starting to get her legs underneath herself, starting to understand what she can do. I don't really know her overall talent. She could be, she could be a diamond in the rough, or she could be the rough. I don't know. But we'll find out at some point over the next 2-3 months. I was very happy with her today, and she did her work very well. So, aside from everybody else, I guess the horses that I had low expectations for, I was happy with today, and the horses that I expected more from, unhappy with today. But again, like I said, this is training. You guys see it with race horses, and it's the same for babies. They can't always be good. Don't talk about Bruno. Talk about good. He was very good. Take International Spy. Something going on with him left hind. He just doesn't seem comfortable to me. And the thing that was most concerning to me was the further we went, the more he seemed a little disorganized, a little disheveled. The way he went about his gait, the way he went about trotting. The further we went, the less comfortable he felt. So I believe there's something going on in that left hind. And you know what? The horse is a nice horse. I can't really say he's done his work great, because he's never done it great, but he's never really done it bad. I can never say, International Spy. There's something there. He's a talented horse, but he has to be sound. And we've had him fluoroscoped. There was nothing found in that left hind, but we had him fluoroscoped shortly after it first showed up. So if there was a faint line there, it would be showing up now. So I had Dr. Bosanjak go over him today and x-ray his left hind, and there may be something found there. If there is, there is. It's nothing that is life-threatening or career-ending. It's going to be a little bit of downtime. But now's the time to see it. So, International Spy, a little disappointed in him, obviously. Insider Trading, I thought, did her work well. Flash Fly isn't moving mechanically as well. Now, when we had her fluoroscope, there was nothing found. So we took the flip-flops off her. Her feet didn't appear to be bothering her. We took the flip-flops off. I took the egg bars off her behind because I thought they maybe were jamming her up. She always had that kind of rusty way of going, right? She always looked like there could be something bothering her. Nothing found, not really unaligned, and really hasn't changed that much, so I don't think there is. I just think it's her. Maturity, probably. So I had to message the blacksmith after she trained and say, hey, can you put the flip-flops back on that filly with the 5/8 and 2 corks? Can you put the egg bars back on her behind? Clearly, what has worked with a number of our horses is not working with her. So let's get back to the way she was when she was so powerful and she was so strong and fluid. In the mile, she looked fine. Getting to the mile, she looked a little rickety, but always put out a great performance in her training trips. Always. Today she didn't. She ran a couple of times, and James said, I'm so surprised that she made a break in the last turn. She felt to me like she felt comfortable and then lost her. That's a pretty good indicator that she hit herself, right? So again, that goes back to changing her shoes back to the way they were before. So that's what we're going to do with her. McPaisley, I thought, did her work well, continuing to come on. Again, a horse we had low expectations for coming into today. Just wanted to see her do her work, and she did it well. I guess the only horse that I held in pretty high regard, there was one. Don't Talk About Bruno. Don't Talk About Bruno did train very well today. Of all the horses I expected to train well today, when I look at set 5, Insider Trading, a little flat today. Bruno was fantastic. Flashfly made 2 breaks. She was off. I don't mean off, but I mean off her game. Lonely Lakewood, expectations had to be low for him. It's his first training trip back. Seasons of Love was good, but again, acting up, made breaks at the start. Punch the Clock. There's no expectations here. I know what she is. I know what she's likely going to become, which is a nice horse. But she is 6 weeks behind everybody. And by the way, almost died. So there's that. Jayport Beach Boy and Rito's Lady. Just go out and do your work. They did it. Hallie in the Clouds, one of our top prospects. Run twice. Drebin, run once. George of the Jungle was okay. Time Is on My Side and Winter Bells were good, but they weren't, oh my God, they were awesome. They were just good. They went out and did their work. They're good horses and they did their work. Easy on the Turns, did her work well. Nice filly, Ready for Landing, made a break. James Arthur was good. Watch Your Mouth, Blarney Castle. Honestly, the only horses that really went out and did what they were supposed to do, impressively, I suppose, in some way or another today, was Easy in the Turns and George of the Jungle. That's it. The only 2. Wheats Morse that did it well. But of the ones that are supposed to do it well, only 2 actually had no complaints with them. Easy in the Turns and George and Don't Talk About Bruno. Sorry. So I'm off to Ohio right now. We have horses training tomorrow, as you know. Obviously, no chance in hell is scratch tomorrow. It's fine. He'll be back next time. That leaves us with what, 30? No, a couple of the other little Chapter 7 won't be going tomorrow. I think we have 38 training tomorrow. Now, those horses, for those of you say, Anthony, you say they train great, and then the video comes out, the drone comes out, and they don't. Well, hold your horses. The video in Ohio last week, the horses, very few of them could have been better than they were. It was an amazing day, and they generally do train well. But I'm not going to come on here and say, oh my God, they were so good today. They were terrible for the most part. But you cannot have the good without the bad, and that is in almost everything in life. So, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. What do we got? I don't think we have anybody racing today, do we? If I did, I missed it. I'm going to have to check again at some point down the road. I know tomorrow we're going to race HP Maestro. We did make a change with him. Went to a set of flip-flops on him because I'm certain his feet are hurting him. Positive. So we went to a set of flip-flops on HP Maestro tomorrow. We're going to add a line pull on the outside for getting on the left line. I don't really want to be taking stuff off of him just yet. Dr. LaTesta thinks that he found the issue with him, which was the left knee. So for all intents and purposes, he should be at or thereabouts 100%. Wow, somewhere around 100%. Then we have a number of... we opted to qualify full hard. And I said to Jason, it's as simple as this. You're not going to teach her anything. She's still a wooden head. And she was never scared of the gate. She'd been behind the gate a number of times. Why don't we just put her in to qualify? My only question is, 1, will you behave? 2, will you trot without hobbles? That's it. I think she will. She's been fast enough. If she is mildly containable tomorrow at Northfield Park in the qualifier, there shouldn't be a problem. Everybody else is going to school. We're going to train a number of horses tomorrow also. That's not tomorrow. That's Thursday. I apologize. Thursday morning, 11 a.m. is the qualifier for full hard, and all the schoolers for our horses. No, the schoolers are not televised, but I'll let you know how they went. Thursday afternoon, I'm going to make my way to the Meadows and drive Dustin Hanover. I like him. And if Ronnie Wren has won around Burks, maybe he won't be able to drive him in the final. So I'll go over and drive him, I guess, on Thursday, and then head back to Ontario for Friday's training. But today was all about the babies, and not a whole lot to report. That'll happen. I guess we're going to have to do a drone again very shortly. I wouldn't do it a week from now, maybe 10 days from now, maybe on a week from Friday. We'll try and do it. We'll see how the horses are, what comes from the trip to the vet. I have the vet look at International Spy today. He's the only real concern of everybody. Everything else is superficial and not really a big deal. Nothing worth talking about in the big scheme of things. I just think there was a lot of things that just didn't go right today. That's the way it is. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. I have about, depending on what I'm about to drive into here at the 403, could be anywhere from a 4-hour to a 4-day drive. I'll get to Ohio at some point tonight. If the traffic's really bad, I'll stop for a bite to eat in Buffalo instead of Ohio. And if it's not, then I'll stop for one of the places I usually do. So with that, I'll let you go. I hope you guys are having a great week. Really happy with Yo Mister going into next week's stake race. Really happy with Locatelli going into the final of the, what's that thing called? Named after a tractor. I forget it. Into the final. Looked great last night. White Tiger looked great. I hope they have a consolation. That would be great if we had White Tiger in the consolation and White Tiger in the consolation and Locatelli in the final. That would be great. And I have to focus now because we have a ton of horses getting ready to school and qualify here in Ohio and in Ontario. Busy week ahead. I'll be going with Horn Player on Friday. We got a couple of horses that are going to be drawing into race on Saturday, hopefully. A lot starting to go on now in Ontario. So I will talk to you later. As I said, I hope you had a great day. Still lots of racing ahead this week. Take care.